Some questions on RSI divergences. So I thought I'd do a quick video and kind of show you what these look like and how to spot them. They're more powerful on larger time frames, but larger time frames are more used if you're going to do a very long swing. Something that's been in a long downtrend, AMD. So in looking at AMD, a normal RSI trend, if you look at these lows, RSI matched lower lows on the RSI, lower lows on the candlestick patterns. That's normal RSI. So even if you shrunk it down to these two lows, the two lows, lower low on the candles, lower lows on the RSI. Now this did bounce here, but it would have been harder to spot for a long trend on the weekly. So in terms of a divergence, it just means they're going the opposite direction. There's bullish and bearish divergence. So when we're looking for an RSI divergence, we try to find one where that doesn't necessarily match. It doesn't have to be a drastic difference. For example, from here to here is relatively flat. However, on our RSI, we have a major slope upward. If you zoom in just a little bit, take it just from these two lows, we're down. These two lows, we're up. That is our RSI divergence. It doesn't necessarily mean a total change in total pattern direction, but it does usually indicate a bounce. If we zoom into the daily, let's take these off again. Actually, let's leave this one. This one looks like it's sloping up a little bit, even on the daily chart, while sloping down. That is an RSI divergence. This one is a little bit more evident. The smaller they are, the less indicative of a major change in direction they might be. It could just be a bounce. It's a pretty strong divergence. Notice that we came down, we closed the gap that we left back here in April, accelerated a little bit faster past it, and then we bounced. Just that bounce though went from $2 to $4.38. So that's over, basically a 200% bounce. Solid bounce. So if you would have played that, in the matter of October 30th to November 9th, a 2-week out strike, maybe if you went 3 to be safe, rode that up, your options would have been huge. This also, it doesn't even have to be on the long time frames. You can do this even intraday. I saw a good one on AMD today. Let's see, I was watching this, I was early on my entry thinking it would kind of repeat what SPY and Facebook patterns I saw this week. However, we had one major divergence here. What I was thinking is, if we were looking at Facebook, for example, the 1-minute chart, sorry, I have a lot on here. If we look at this from the other day, we repeated the same pattern twice here. So we gapped up, came back down, almost closed the gap, came back up again, made a double bottom, bounced. RSI is not great here, but then we trended up the entire rest of the day. The same day, next day, same thing. We dropped, came back up, about 50% retracement, double bottom, trended up the rest of the day. Came right back up to the high, if not beating the high. Pretty common pattern. I saw this in SPY the other day as well. Anyway, I was thinking that AMD would do the same thing, but it did not, unfortunately. The trade lagged, gapped up, came down, double bottomed, looked like it was going to trend up the rest of the day, but it didn't. It came back down and made another low. But when it made the last lows here, you can see on our RSI, this was the first time we had a major RSI divergence. RSI came all the way down to 22 basically, almost to my green line here, which is at 20. Other than that, the rest of the day, this was a normal RSI. The low, it was up. RSI was also up. Middle of the range, not a great entry. So what we saw here though, we came all the way down to the bottom of the RSI on the 1-minute time frame. Started building a divergence. Notice this wasn't going lower. Generally, you can wait for a second one. So we came up, bounced, not big, came right back down again. So if you started a position here, wouldn't have been bad. Came down a little bit more. We went from 92 down to 91.90, so 10 cents, not a big deal. However, if you saw this divergence, entered an at the money call here, maybe a 91 or a 92 would be slightly out of the money. Notice we did end the day at 93.14. So within a matter of 1 hour, we got a nice $2 plus price jump. And then bearish divergence, you can note that here our RSI is going down, whereas the candlesticks were going up, which indicates weakness. The RSI is the relative strength index. It's not necessarily a measure of overbought or oversold. It's the relative strength. Notice we're losing strength. The stock started to drop. Hope that clears up a few things. Let me know if you have any questions.